right, welcome. What is going on? I guess this is a podcast. Or we're just trapped in my car and we have nothing to do. We're waiting for parking to open up. That's basically what's happening. I'm Joe Pontillo. This is Erik Angel. Only I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm still with my just maybe.
Well, I appreciate your commitment to safety. That's, just in case the car all of a sudden took off on its own, you would be safe. Not. I have no seatbelt on, so I'm just asking for trouble. But so here's the deal.
Oops.
Oh God.
Oh, we are very professional.
So anything that happens, it works. Okay, you're getting a notification. I just got a call for shows.
It's a very professional production. So Joe,
oh my God,
how many years you have a car in the city?
Okay, so I moved to Brooklyn in kind of in pieces. I'm originally from Long Island.
Oh, one is
so perfect. So I had, when you're just given a car on Long Island, you have no choice, which you need it because you have to get off of Long Island one way or the other. Some people get stuck, they can't leave. I got out, but now I almost want to go back because I've grown to hate New York City so much that I just, I want my neighborhood to not be constantly under construction. Is that too much to ask?
I guess yes.
And I want a parking spot, and there's not, I do okay. Like you live in Manhattan.
I live in Manhattan,
Which
I live in the Upper West Side, but I don't own a car, but I'm renting from time to time, taking from friends. Mm-hmm. The good part in the parking there, if you find a parking spot, you just move to live there. Twice a week you have to sit in the car for 1 hour and a half, and other than that, it's yours.
Yeah, so basically in New York City, for those of you who don't know, there's this whole subculture. It's like a parking subculture.
Exactly.
We have this thing called alternate side parking. It's like usually 2 or 3 hours a day where basically your car can't be parked on one side of the street because there's like a 10% chance a street sweeper is going to come by. And if the street sweeper doesn't come by, there's 1,000% chance a cop is going to come by and give you a ticket for breaking the most sacred law of being parked on the wrong side of the street at the so ridiculous. So Manhattan is, I feel like, is a little intense because people park in Manhattan, and that's just it. Like you literally just rent a car just so you could park it.
Yeah. But you say it's intense, but then I'm coming here to Brooklyn and I see that you have you have to move your car from midnight to 3 a.m. This sounds to me much wilder than what I am supposed to do.
Yeah, so I think I got lucky neighborhood-wise. So like one side of the street for me, it's really like the next block over from where I live. Yeah. I don't know where we are right now. We took a wrong turn. But, so I would be out doing shows a lot of nights, and I'd come home, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. So I would just wait up for a few hours and move my car, and there'd be like one other questionable looking guy who did it. He had a minivan. He'd always beat me, I wouldn't wait till 3 a.m. on the dot, because like by 2:40, I think you're safe.
Did you ever saw the sweeper coming? Because I almost don't see him coming.
Every time I see the street sweeper coming, they're just driving straight down the street and not even on either side. They just drive down the street like, this is my job. I love this.
I see them. Maybe sometimes they're doing it, but almost always there is someone that's not moving his car, so they just have to go like, I don't know.
I feel like I saw one honk their horn once, as if, the car with nobody in it was just going to instinctively know to move out of its way.
You got tickets? You got tickets during the years?
I've only gotten like maybe 2.
Only 2?
I got one in New York City, in Manhattan. Sorry, I don't want to be that person.
You're a hero.
But it was because I did a show downtown, and then I went to grab some food with another comic after the show. Yeah. And I didn't realize that the parking started at midnight. So when I got back to the car, it was like 12:30, and I had a ticket already.
Oh my God.
That was intense.
But it didn't happen to you. And you are every evening you're traveling the city from few spots usually. How you do it? How you find how you have the nerves even to find locations every night around this city? You're going everywhere: Queens, Manhattan, probably Harlem, Brooklyn, of course. You're going everywhere with a car.
Exactly. And it's like, it's amazing that I'm not more late to shows than I already am. But on the bright side, almost every show in New York City never starts on time.
Yeah.
So if they're like, 8 o'clock, just be like, okay, well, I'll get to the area at 8 o'clock. And then I'll drive around looking for parking for 20 minutes.
But then you have another spot at 9:30 or something.
Yeah, so they slowly wear you down and try to turn you into a person who takes mass transit. But I refuse to cave, okay? I don't take mass transit. Because you know what happens in mass transit? You go on the train, and, I'm like, if the train shuts down, what am I doing? Like, is this it?
Yeah, but how often, there are problems all the time. I'm taking the trains all the time. There are many problems, but it never shuts down. Sometimes, once in a while, somebody's shooting at you or something.
Well, yeah, but that's usually the conductor, weirdly. They just having a bad day, and
you see,
no one's listening to the announcements.
Even though it's really changed since the pandemic, also the train, nobody's reading a book anymore. I didn't see...
Nobody's reading a book.
No, and I didn't see a suit for years. No one with suits. No suits, no books, and no masturbation, I guess. But...
Yeah, well, New York City's really changed. It's gotten too woke.
Yeah, it's too woke.
Yeah, so speaking of the pandemic, all right, so when COVID happened, I think the city just, gave up. That's what happened. The Parks Department quit. They stopped cutting things, around, little trees on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
That all got, very overgrown. It's as if they were trying to make it look like nobody lived in New York City, so maybe the virus would just give up and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But they...
Pretending that we left?
No, this city's abandoned. Please don't infect us. Okay. So, so they canceled alternate side parking for basically a year, I think.
Yeah, but it was not complete. It was only instead of twice a week, it was once a week. It was not at all for you. I don't remember.
I thought it was totally canceled.
Maybe it's totally. You had a car. I don't remember. I was locked in a studio apartment and.
No, you know what? They were only doing it once.
Zoom myself to death.
Yeah. They were doing it once a week. That's what it was.
Exactly, instead of twice.
But the cops even gave up. Because they did. They weren't even giving tickets.
Yeah.
Because whichever cops it is that, give out those tickets, that's the lowest, bracket of cops.
Yeah.
There's street cops. There's the cops who, I don't know, just put up barricades. That's their only job.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a thing.
Let's get in trouble with the cops. Yeah, tell us what the cops.
And then there's the parking meter cops, and then there's the cops that just give out tickets for alternate side parking.
Yeah.
So those cops
there
just
are really
gave
cops. This is a cop that can arrest you also.
I'm sure if you got crazy.
Oh really?
I don't believe in alternate side parking. This is an outrage. There's one intersection not far from where I live where, there's they put a cop there to I guess do traffic control.
Yeah.
One time the woman was dancing as she was controlling traffic.
The police officer. The cop.
So I could support that.
I'm supporting dancing.
I would fund those police.
Yeah.
If they were going to dance
many
more.
of them are good.
Make them all TikTok stars.
And if this guy giving you a ticket, how much money is it?
Okay, so I think the ticket for alternate side parking is only $60 or $65.
Okay, it's not that bad because there is parking spots that will cost you in Manhattan $17 or $20 an hour. So
yeah,
give me the ticket.
I got towed once in my neighborhood because they may have even done it the night of. They put up new signs saying you can't park there, but that's
the night off.
It might have been the night of, or it was so recent that you didn't notice. It's not like they announce it. You just show up one day and they're like, when did this become a no parking spot?
Really?
I don't know how New York City doesn't have people that they pay who just wander around the streets being like, want me to explain that sign to you? Because
it's very complicated
some of the
sometimes.
Parking signs are so complicated. So I get towed.
Yeah.
So I pay whatever it was, $200 something to get the car
Where
back.
did you have to go to take it?
I think there's a tow pound somewhere in Brooklyn. I forget.
You remember the people that were working there? Because in Israel, for example, it's always release prisoners in those places.
They-
They're pretty scary.
I don't know if they're released prisoners, but they're very angry. They're very
Why
like,
they angry?
I
Why?
don't know. Like, nobody told you to work at the impound lot.
Yeah, that's first.
So
And
like
second,
they're acting like their car got towed, and the only way they could get it back is if they work there.
yeah.
Uh,
This is very strange. Why these people are very angry at you?
everybody in service. Like, how was the DMV? You went to the DMV before this. Were they angry?
No, it was very they're pretty pleasant. I have a problem, it's probably will sound ridiculous because I'm an immigrant and my English it's really a problem, and it was really hard for me to understand the lady that served me. She's with a mask, she has a heavy accent, and I didn't understand what she's talking with me. So it was really not convenient. And then I start to think, why they put it? And then I said, why even I have this thought about why they putting here this kind of that kind? I am like her exactly. This is what's happening to you. After a few years, you become an immigrant, you start to go, to put down other immigrants, and I think it's very wrong.
It's like New York City is like cultivating you and like prepping you to just hate other people. like I was a nice guy when I moved here, and now I'm fighting everybody. I really hate bike riders. That's like my arch nemesis.
Yeah, one thing I don't understand, I didn't get I renew my license, but I couldn't get the upgrade to this new ID, whatever that you have to get to fly with it, because they're like asking you like 72 kinds of papers. Like there is no trust. I don't know, like green card, my previous driving license.
They want to see a video of your stand-up.
Yeah, they didn't like my tight 5. They said you
we didn't like this latest reel you posted on Instagram. What's your issue with your mother?
Exactly. They didn't like how I'm treating my mother. And I just couldn't get it. So now I have to bring more stuff to get the upgrade.
Oh my God.
Yeah, at least I have like a license now for 8 years. By the way, it's amazing story how I got the license. I came here, of course, after many years that I already had the driving license, and I drove here the first 2 years with my Israeli driving license, and I decided to do a local one because it's like you're supposed to do it, and it's also like your ID here.
Right.
And then you have to do a written test, like it's a written test, and then they send you have to pay like, I don't know, $50 and to sit with, I don't know, 17 years old kids or 16 and to watch like videos for a few hours.
Oh, and those are the worst.
Yeah,
they're the worst videos.
It's just a system to make money, I think. I feel even the teacher.
It's like a dog driving a car and they're like, don't do this.
Don't do this. Yeah. And even the teacher, he just put the video and went from the room. Nobody even was looking at the videos. Everybody with their phones, never mind. And the third one is to do a test, a driving test. And they told me, I did it in upstate New York in Hudson, and I found a teacher there. And I hired her in her car because I didn't want to bring my car my father-in-law car to the test. It's a bit strange that you're driving to your driving license test. But then came some guy, and we started to drive, and after 2 seconds let's make it short, he touched my wheel for like 7 times during my short test.
Oh, and you still passed?
He was shouting at me. I didn't understand what's going on with him, and then we stopped, and then he said, man, listen, you have to do A, B, D, and E, but you passed. And then he went to speak with the teacher that I hired to explain to her what she should work with me, even though I will never see this lady ever again. So
right. I think to pass the test, like, you can't lose more than like 30 or 35 points or something. Which seems like a lot.
I lost in Israel. If he touch your wheel, it's over.
Yeah,
so if he touched my wheel, I said, "No, I can't believe it."
On my driving test, the person almost touched my wheel, and I was like, "Ooh, that seemed like I almost failed."
Oh, really?
But
he did like.
Yeah, like they thought I wasn't gonna, or I was gonna turn into traffic too quickly. But I had it.
So I think it's pretty easy here to get a driving license,
and that's
what I'm trying to
well,
say.
that's the problem. We have a very low bar for giving out driver's licenses in America. I used to do a joke about this. I don't do it that much anymore. That and to get your license renewed, Sounds like you had a whole tough time. But it used to be you just go to the DMV and they'd be like, hey, kids, you see those letters on the wall?
Yeah.
And you're like, kinda. And they're like, great, here's your license for 7 more years.
Yeah, this is what she asked me to look only on the top letters, like not the small ones.
Yeah, like not even a challenge.
And I'm with my glasses,
It's
like,
you
yeah,
walk
of course
in,
I see them.
You walk in and they're just like, what color's my hair? And you're like, brown? Okay, here's your license, get out.
Yeah. No, to renew it was very easy, very pleasant, very quick. But I didn't get the upgrade because now I have to bring them.
Yeah, that's a whole new.
I need to walk in a totally new 5 minutes.
Which
now.
I don't understand. You already burned your first DMV 5 minutes.
Oh my god!
Now you need your second one, but
that's not easy. That's not easy. Is it expensive to have a car in New York?
it's no more expensive than having a car anywhere, I'd say. But the problem.
How do you know?
Well,
You
exactly.
checked in, I don't know, Ethiopia?
Yes. Well, the thing is, like, you know, I don't pay for parking, or I rarely do.
Yeah. Insurance?
Insurance, but that would probably be the same almost anywhere. And then that's really it. And then gas. But the problem is everything else in New York City is so expensive that you start examining things and you're like, well, what could I live without? And then even though I can't live without my car, I'm still like, but how could I get rid of my car and still be okay? Like, do I know enough people who would drive me? Am I going to become a mass transit guy? I'm on the road too much, so I can't really just be like, oh, well, no more car for me.
Yeah.
Because I just don't know or trust enough openers.
and you drive a lot for gigs, right? You will try to Vermont, places like that, right?
That's one of the least craziest places.
Oh, really? What is the most crazy place you drove to?
Well, last year alone, I drove to Florida not once but twice.
How many hours is it?
Where I went the first time, it was maybe like 15-ish.
Okay.
But that was more like northern Florida. Then the second time, I was actually meeting my family in Disney.
Ooh.
But I stopped and did a gig in Georgia on the way, which was actually a little out of the way, so I probably added like 4 or 5 hours to my trip. But it was worth it for that sweet, you know, $300 or whatever.
Yeah, but the question is, it's not cheaper just to fly, gas-wise?
Oh, yeah, of course. But I'd rather slowly destroy my car.
Okay. Now we just been in Denver, and Tehran that been with us there in Comedy for Peace. I don't know how he did it, but he rented us a car in the airport for $14.
Yeah, you can find a car for pretty cheap.
$14 plus insurance. It was $34. I just couldn't believe it.
Oh, he actually went for the insurance?
Yeah, of course we need to go. You know, otherwise they can. But $34.
I never accept
Here
the
in the
insurance.
city, it's gonna be like 170 or something. 50, 70.
No, I had to rent a car last year, and I think I got it for like 35, 40 per day.
Really?
Yeah.
Where? You took it from the airport?
No, I took it.
You slept
Something
with
very questionable. I broke into a car, but I brought it back. I fixed the window, so really all I had to pay for was the window. But what New York City does is we have some of the worst roads.
Right.
Like, I swear there's like got to be some sort of like underhanded deal between like mechanics and body shops and the city, where they're just like, they'll just rip up a road and just go, all right, we'll come back in a month. So you're driving on a road that's like, and I'm like, come on. Like, I think everybody in New York City, to make it more livable, especially for people with a car, we should all get like a $1,500 like check each year for like car maintenance.
Absolutely.
Anybody with a car, or like a tax rebate.
I'm sure they're gonna give it to us.
It's happening. I'm going to run for mayor. I'm going to go up to Adams and be like, people will hate this. And he'll be like, oh, then I'll do it. Because that's that's the only way you can get him to do anything. No one would support this. I'm on board. Excellent.
Really, I have no clue what he's doing or not doing, but the city doesn't look better to me, so I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really know. It's like a less funny or a funnier de Blasio.
Yeah. I have to tell you, there is once I rented a car. There is a guy, a Hasidic guy in Brooklyn, that he has like his own company, but like 3, 4. It's much something more like a neighborhood thing. But then I took from him a car. It wasn't that expensive, but on the way back, I had a flat tire on one of the roads that you just mentioned, and it became a big mess. And thanks God that I have AAA.
Oh, okay.
insurance. So that helped me to. But I usually, when I find a car here to rent, it's pretty expensive. I don't know how did you. But you're not doing insurance.
I'm gonna
you
have
said.
to. Yeah, I got away without it, but although, maybe it was over like $100. I might be lying, but whatever.
Yeah, it's
A
very
lot of
expensive.
bumps in New York, and it's like,
Yeah.
and they won't fix anything unless like a rich person messes up their car. And then they're like, oh my God, we have to do emergency work on this road right now because the son of a rich person messed up their car. It's really ridiculous. It's really like they're just working against you. Like New York City, I swear, it's the only place where people sit down and they're like, how can we make things worse for the people who live here? Like, there used to be way more parking in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
A lot of it's been taken out by a construction site. They don't need all these spots, but they're taking them anyway. For some reason, at one point, they just, like, extended the bike lane.
Okay.
Like, I get that bikes need a lane, but, like, they don't need, like, 4 lanes, okay? Give them 1 lane.
Yeah.
And then also, they just were like, we're just going to put big rocks on the side of the road. And why? Who asked for that? Like, was there a vote? So
Maybe it was a vote, but
we got to do something with these big rocks.
We didn't talk about, okay, you're driving a lot, but everybody says that how it's crazy is the drivers here. Is it that crazy to be a to be a car owner that have to deal with these other drivers all the time?
I feel like the craziest drivers are probably in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with a bunch of people. So when I first started driving regularly in New York City, I felt like it was me and like 10,000 taxi cabs. And those guys are insane. Like,
Yeah.
they will cut across. It's so funny because they all have stickers on the back that say, your choices behind the wheel matter. And then they'll just ram across 3 lanes.
For a customer? or
Yeah,
something?
exactly. I feel like it's not as bad now because they have competition with Uber and Lyft and everything. So they're
Yeah.
a little more like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be so insane. Or they're just broken because they're not making the money they used to make. But yeah,
So
Manhattan's...
they're nicer, you think?
or they're just defeated. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, probably defeated mostly.
So you're dealing with that. And then you have like the livery cab people
Yeah.
who just always seem to drive as if they're like looking for something. And they're just completely oblivious.
They're looking for the address that they
Yeah.
have to deliver.
But they just they just like to pretend like no one's behind them. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the only person on the road.
And now you have, since the pandemic, you have also all this outdoors.
Right, the restaurants take up a lot of parking spots, and now they
Yeah.
keep adding these like stupid scooters, these Revel
Oh,
scooters,
yeah.
which people keep knocking over, which I find very funny. But they park it on the street and they take up like a whole spot with this one stupid little scooter.
Yeah.
And again, it's like,
By the way, when it started during the pandemic, the scooter situation, I was riding a scooter in Israel for years, and
I can see that.
I never in Tel Aviv you cannot move without it. It's just the
Right.
We don't have a subway. We don't have. It's really a mess. Also, all the cities now under construction. Also for years, but I used to see the pandemic. I saw like it started and everybody was going everywhere without a helmet, and I stopped one and said, "Don't you supposed to put in a helmet? It's not." So yeah. By the law, but nobody did. It was some chaos feeling in the air that nobody cares. And after a few days, somebody just fall and die. And then they stopped travel for a few days and they
right.
just kept going.
All right.
You cannot go in a scooter without a helmet.
2 days of mourning, and then we're like, all right,
Yeah,
back on the
okay.
bikes.
Yeah, go on. Let's bring us the money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really surprising. You know, many things that happening here. I grew up in a mindset of a country that thinks about America like the perfect place on earth, like big America.
Well, we're really good at marketing.
You're good
what
at
it-
marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I grew up, you know, we didn't have McDonald's and stuff like that in Israel. So for us, it was wow.
Ooh, we're getting McDonald's.
Yeah, nobody even thought about this. That you know, people selling us just poison, and it's.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I think other countries around the world actually take McDonald's very seriously. But here, our McDonald's are like, well, we might as well just eat food that fell on the floor. You know?
How seriously they can take them in other countries. It changed a little bit a few years ago after this documentary, you remember? Double Size Me or Double...
Oh, Super Size Me?
Super Size
Yeah.
Me, yeah. It changed a little bit. Now they even bringing sometimes tomatoes to the...
If you're lucky. 3 pickles.
3 pickles, yeah. So they try to make it more health. Yeah. So what do you think? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen here in the?
I think that the ultimate plan is that nobody in New York City will own a car. We'll all
Yeah.
be.
This is what they
We'll
want,
be.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. This is. What
They were threatening to build some like long like tram that goes from like South Brooklyn to Queens that was going to go right through my neighborhood.
okay.
when
Through
the-
your home, through your living room.
Literally, probably. So that
Oh, this
that
is-
would have been bad. Oh, see, this is the problem in New York. People like that.
Well, with the Vespa.
Yeah, Vespas. Because these people are all like, they're douchebags. You know,
Why?
they think they own the road. Like if you start opening your car door, you'll hear like, "Close that door, buddy," and you're like, "Oh my god!" And they'll speed
Yeah.
by you at like 100 miles an hour. And then when they get something happens to them, they're like, "Oh."
No, but that's
How
true.
could
You know,
this
your
happen?
mindset when you're on these vehicles, you just want to be the first all the time, and you really think that it belongs to you, the road. I know it's not healthy at all.
Yeah. So I guess what I would recommend is if you're moving to New York City, first of all, don't. But if you absolutely must, live in Jersey. There's really like no winning because like, you know, like I'm from Long Island originally. People on Long Island take the train into the city, but they all hate themselves, and that gets very pricey. Taking the train back and forth, and
You're
like
just surrounded with too many Jewish in your life. Everybody hates himself.
and all the loud Italians on the train being like,
Yeah.
you know, hey, oh, what happened here?
Italian Jews, it's amazing combination. It's like from everything and everything together.
Yes, that's why there's an Italian and Jew on this podcast, because
Yeah.
that is the ultimate power dynamic.
But you are both.
I'm not, but I should. But thank you.
No?
No. Oh, does that change things?
No, you're not Italian. I thought you were Italian.
No, I am Italian.
And you're not Jewish?
Yeah. No, I'm not Jewish.
You want to be? I have connections.
Oh,
no?
okay, yeah. Let's
Oh,
get some
okay.
paperwork going.
I don't know why I thought you're Jewish.
You need it.
I don't know. I have to ask my mother if I can sit with you in the car.
I do get that all the time, though.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I have done.
I love it.
I've done shows just for old Jews, and you know.
Absolutely.
It's gone well, but then they'd be like, "Are you Jewish?" And I was like, "I no. Are you sure?"
Yeah, I'm sure you have something. I think you see, really.
Well,
Your
that's
self-hate talking and this complaining non-stop shtick of yours.
I think this is because I'm a real New Yorker, and the
Yeah.
real New Yorker is
Maybe it is.
moderately Jewish.
Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. It's funny.
Yeah. So what's coming up for you now? What do you got?
What's coming up for
Yeah.
me?
Besides financial ruin.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just I am starting to travel again, fourth season with my Comedy for Peace project. It's what Jewish and Muslim comedians.
I can't be in it because I'm against peace.
Yeah, until now it's
Pro-
just I didn't
I've
know that, but
stocks in the
we have
defense
a version
industry.
with also sometimes with Christians, so we can include you.
Oh, all right. There you
So
go.
that's good to know. And so we have few trips. We're going to Detroit and Pennsylvania and Vermont, and we have a West Coast tour by the end of April. Other than that, I'm working on new material all the time. I'm doing spots as much as I can, hustling.
Yeah.
This month I'm going to try to upload every day a clip. This is my target, my project 31.
Oh,
for
damn. All
March.
right.
Because for a long time I didn't do it, and I think sometimes people, checking me, and I don't
Yeah,
say,
you got-
what
yeah.
this guy is doing, and I'm doing every
Is
night.
this guy
something.
even on social media? Is he
Yeah.
dead? Like, that's kind of what happens
So-
if you're not posting all the time.
Exactly. So I didn't do it for a while because I just didn't have time. I don't have time to do. If I'm marketing the comedy, the project, I don't have time for social media.
Right.
If I'm doing this, I don't know, because I'm also working the material, trying to find the gigs, to perform in the gigs. If
Yeah.
I'm producing comedy for Peace, like tour, for example, so I'm buying the air tickets and booking the flights and the cars and everybody else, and comedians, to work with
Yeah.
a group of comedians. You can imagine how fun that can be.
Of course.
Even though I'm really working with great people, because if you're not like a nice, kind person that I can walk and trust you, I won't do it, because it's just too much work.
Yeah.
It's just, I cannot be screwed by all kind of selfish people, and that's it. It's never ending here. This is what I'm learning in this. It makes you stronger.
Yeah.
It makes you because it's many of us. There is many comedians here.
Yes. So too many. 3 of them just walked by.
Really?
No, I don't know, but
Let's.
anytime you run into somebody, you're like, because it used to be, like I feel like someone would come up to you after a show and be like, "Oh, that's my, my sister's, boyfriend's cousin does comedy."
Yeah.
And now someone comes up to you after a show and they're like, "Hey, I do comedy too." And you're like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. What is crazy for me that 6 years I'm here, almost every night performing and meeting someone in the show that I never saw in my life. Sometimes he have 3 albums, one special in Amazon Prime,
Yeah.
and he did 3 movies with I don't know, with Adam Sandler. And I never, and he's working comedian, and never saw him. And,
Oh yeah, that's
how can it be?
Or like someone knows you but you don't know them.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
that's also
It's like,
happened.
"Oh, you're Joe Pontillo." I am. Oh yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
I have no
happened.
idea who you are.
That
but-
happens to me also a lot. But then, of course, I'm becoming American very fast. I'm smiling and hugging and shaking
That is
hands
what
and-
we do. Yeah,
So
we're
nice
over,
to see
so
you.
very excited. A lot of handshaking.
Yeah.
No crying. Nobody cries here. But one of the most
Absolutely.
fun aspects of stand-up comedy to me is the travel, like going different places.
Yeah.
But, I'm in this position now where I haven't even taken a plane in like 8 years now.
Ah, you afraid from flying?
No, I just haven't had a need to. I could have flown some places.
Well, yeah.
I'm at the point now where I'm like, all right, last year I did so many trips with this car. I'm gonna have to fly someplace. Like if I go back to Florida or I go to like Tennessee or something, like I think I'm
Absolutely.
flying. Would love a reason to go to California.
Like
that
now,
up.
now you will have a gig in Detroit. You're gonna drive there. It's a 2 hours flight.
Yeah, why not?
And wow, it's crazy. And so you didn't do gigs in the West Coast, I guess, or you did?
Not recently, no.
Yeah.
The furthest west I've gone, I think, is Ohio in the last year or two. Oh,
Yeah,
and
I see.
Kentucky. Went to Kentucky.
So you didn't take a flight for 8 years?
Yeah, not because I'm afraid of it. I mean, I might be
Really?
bad. Well, the last time I was flying back to New York, a huge lightning storm hit New York the morning I was supposed to leave, and they actually canceled my flight. And I was stuck in LA for like another day, and the
Okay.
only thing I could get was like a red-eye flight.
Yeah.
And they made me pay, $250 to upgrade to
Really?
first class because that was the only way I could get it. I mean, flying first class, oh my God, what an experience. But, I was already in LA for free.
Yeah.
So then, I just got to spend another $250, and I complained because, like, really, they should have hooked me up with something for free. They canceled my flight, and the best they could do was like give me a $200 credit to fly again with them, but I had to use it within a year,
Yeah.
and I didn't. So the money.
So
was
you
gone.
banned the all the.
And that's why I don't fly anymore.
Man, last year I had 30 flies.
I wish I flew during COVID just because the flights were so cheap.
Yeah, I had 30 flies, but I had to tell you, now I had a flight 2 days ago. After a few months, I just wanted to rest for me.
Do they still do frequent flyer miles?
What does it mean?
All right, that answers my question. All right, good night, folks. All right, where can people find you, Erik Angel?
In the car here, I don't know where we are.
If you can find us, we'll geotag this.
You're gonna be our guest right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were supposed to.
We're definitely gonna bring guests.
We
in
were
the
supposed to
future.
have a guest, but
Yeah.
I moved where the car was,
So he's not
and
gonna
I didn't.
find us.
I didn't tell them. And,
Yeah, I want to speak with a sweeper. This is my dream to see what he was dreaming when he was a kid and what he's
I'm sure at least a few of them are also comedians, by
absolutely.
day.
Everyone is a comedian.
or at least one of them actually records a podcast
Yeah.
while they're doing the street sweeping.
Yeah,
That's almost definitely what's happening.
this is the next podcast we're gonna do. Yeah, you can find me everywhere. Erik Angel Comedy, Erik with K, and Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, etc., etc.
Yeah, whatever I post this on, whichever YouTube channel, subscribe on there. If it's on Instagram, Pontillogram, and watch out for my new special that's about to drop. No one asked for this. That'll be on
I
YouTube.
asked for that.
He did. He was the only one, and like one guy from Long Island. But
And your mother.
no, she definitely didn't.
She
But
didn't.
But my mom did come to the taping. She's come to both my tapings.
This is nice.
And the best compliment, because my mom hates comedy.
Yeah.
The best compliment I could get is someone being like, even mom was laughing. And I was like, okay. Then it was a good show.
I will tell you something. We can speak about it next time. My mother doesn't even know that I'm doing comedy. And all my family.
How are you hiding this from her?
You see?
Is your last name even Angel?
No.
Okay. That explains a lot. All right, well, thanks for watching, and this maybe will be the first of a recurring series here. So, I'm Joe Pontillo.
I'm Erik Angel.
And keep looking for spots.
Absolutely.